Hi, this is Josh Weibman with REI 360. I want to thank you for joining me today for our real estate training. Today, I'd like to talk to you about something that I was recently introduced to. It's a different concept, I guess, regarding rental properties. When I was first introduced to rental properties, I just thought of them as a cash flow generator, something that is going to put a couple dollars in my pocket at the end of each month, and then, pay an electric bill, help pay my rent, pay a car payment, something like that, just to offset my expenses. This concept is a little bit different. It's more of treating a real estate investment or a cash flow investment. There's buy and hold properties as little piggy banks. It's the idea of taking advantage of time and other people's money. It's the idea that you can have major returns instead of a few $100s or $1,000 a month on a larger building. Each month you can put off or delay the gratification if you don't need the money, and take advantage of the leveraging other people's money for large returns. I'm going to use, for an example, a very conservative real estate, a very conservative sample property. This property values $100,000. If you're an investor, you can go out and market for properties and find a deal out there. Usually in the $100,000 price range in my market, you're able to find properties in the $30,000 and $40,000 price range, all the way up to $100,000, $110,000, $115,000. So, as a rental property, what I'm targeting is I want to be all in on that property for $65,000. What that might mean is I'm going to be buying it at 30, and I got to fix the place up. But the idea is to have a rental property that is in no need of any major mechanical upgrades or any major upgrades for the next 10 years. 10 years is our window here where we're going to see a huge return on this property. Okay, so we're entering this at 65 cents on the dollar. It's pretty common. That's my target for any investment property, whether it's a flip or as a rental property. This is actually a little bit higher than I like to invest, but for the purpose of this example, it's absolutely fine. So we're in it for $65,000. The nice thing about this is if I can go out and get a hard money loan, or I've got $65,000 cash that I can use to purchase and fix up the property, when I refinance the house, even at a very, very conservative bank, they're going to give me 65 cents on the dollar. They'll leverage 65% of that property. So what you end up with is having very little or absolutely no money tied up in this property. It's essentially a free asset to you, okay? So what are we going to do next? First of all, here's what I got. I got this mortgage amount for $65,000. The principal, interest, taxes, and insurance on the property is $650 a month, okay? Now we go out and we're going to find a tenant. Find a tenant at a rental rate of $1,000, all right? $1,000 for $100,000 property. Typically, my target all-in number for a property like this is $50,000. In this case, like I said before, I'm a little bit higher, but I'm doing that for the purpose of this illustration. If you can find one at $50,000, you're even in better shape. So what we have here is rental rate of $1,000 a month, and I figured additional expenses for management and maintenance on the property, it's going to be about $150 a month. And where did I come up with that figure? Figure 8% for management. And in this case, we've already upgraded the property to the point where we need no major repairs on the building for the next 10 years. So there may be incidentals here and there, clogged toilet, minor maintenance call, or we might not have to do anything until the resident moves out, but we've already budgeted for that money, okay? That leaves us with approximately $200 a month in positive cash flow. $200 a month, it's nothing to ignore. It's a couple bucks. It's $2,400 a year. But let's be honest, it's not going to change your life. It's not going to change my life. It's not going to, it's not going to be a major game changer. So for the purpose of this illustration, we're not touching that money. What we're going to do is first, we are going to take that money and put it into an emergency account. For this to work, we got to insulate ourselves, insure ourselves against catastrophe, Okay? Catastrophe could be an eviction. Catastrophe could be any major damage to the property that's unexpected, vandalism, a break-in, that kind of stuff. We want to insulate ourselves. So we're going to put that extra $200 a month into the account until we have about 6 months worth of payments. Okay? What's that turn out to be? 36, let's call it $4,000. When we have $4,000 set aside, then we move to the next step. All of that money is then going to go towards the principal on the property. It's just every month going to be dumped in, dumped in, dumped in. We've got our principal, interest, taxes, insurance. We're paying an extra $200 a month. It's going to be $850 every month being paid towards that property. So what do we have now? We have a piggy bank. We have something, a very nice asset that's been paid down. We don't have any money invested up front, and we've got a resident or a tenant in the property who's paying off the mortgage, increasing the equity, and we're just dumping all of that cash in there. At the end of a 10-year period, what we have is an asset that's worth $100,000 that has $73,000 in equity. I'm using round numbers, but basically what we've done is paid off 75% or 73% of the value of the property. And if you buy right, you're also going to probably have some increase in value by appreciation. You're probably going to have some rental increases over a 10-year period. You're going to have an increase in the value just along those lines. This in and of itself is pretty impressive. But let's say you look at this as a 10-year goal, okay? A 10-year focus and really a life-changing experiment, we'll say. All right? In year number 1, you buy one property. Years 1 through 10, you're only buying one property every year. I guarantee you that if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find a property that fits this sample, this example, once a year. Well, that's all you have to do, because at the end of that 10-year period, on year 11, you're going to sell the first property. And you're just going to continue the cycle. You're going to sell the first property, you're going to $73,000. January 1st, you have $73,000. You didn't work a day, but you're starting out with $70,000 income. And you can continue this time after time after time. The whole point here is that you're taking advantage of time. You're taking advantage of, having somebody else, leveraging somebody else's money to purchase the property, to fix it up, to hold the note on the property, and then leveraging somebody else's payments to you to pay off the mortgage. It's an easy, really nice trick. It blew me away when I took a look at this. But what really makes this exciting is the fact that, think about where you were 10 years ago. You probably could have done this 10 years ago if you would have focused on it. The key now is to get going today. If you buy that first property this year, and you say, you know what, I'm getting the first property this year, you get it under your belt, then you move to the next and the next and the next. Before you know it, you'll be getting that check once a year for $70,000, $100,000 or more for work that you did 10 years ago. So I love the rental property piggy bank concept. Encourage you to look into it, give it a try, and if you think it's something you want to move forward with, go out there and do it. Thanks for joining me for today's training. Until I see you again, I wish you the best of luck in your real estate investing.